come with me to train my 2-year-old Belgian Malinois. We go to club at least 2 days a week, and this is what one of our club days looks like. I'm actually prepping Beretta for a trial that's coming up very, very soon. We're going for her first legs in PSA, and I'm super excited. So we always start off with obedience. Right now she's doing a down, and in the routine for the ones, there is a seated decoy that will pester your dog trying to get them to break. She did try to bite at the roll, however, she didn't actually bite at it, so I'm not too mad about that. We're also working her heeling and her decoy neutrality, which she's honestly pretty good with, and she's not very vocal whatsoever. Now we're going to go into some bite work. This is the bag toss portion. It is one of the scenarios for the bite work portion of the ones. However, we didn't have a bag, so we just used whatever we had at the time. And now I am outing her from a distance, which is always so fun because I always have to scream at the top of my lungs. And another thing that we've been working on is her doing this little spinny thing whenever I take her away from the decoy, which she just loves to do sometimes, but then I just have to stand a little bit closer. Here I am discussing with Shane to figure out a way for me to do that better. We are now doing another bag toss send, and she did pretty freaking well in that one, and she also flew. And now we're just going to work on her grip, and then he's gonna drive her behind this little bush over here. I also wanted to see if she would out from like behind a bush out of my sight, and of course she did. Beretta's a really, really good girl, and she listens very well, so I'm always so proud of her. I gave her a quick little regrip from a distance. Now we're gonna work on some of her outs as well as her transports. She's a little slow on her outs, so definitely still working on that with her. She will out, however, it's just a little bit slow in my opinion. At this point, we're honestly just kind of nitpicking at little things that I can fix and clean up before trial. There isn't a transport in the ones, but sometimes I just like to incorporate it because she already knows the command. Here I am changing it up a little bit, and I told her to sit, and she sat while the decoy walks away. She did that super nice, so I had the decoy come back up and give her another grip. We worked on her outs a couple more times, and she did them fairly quicker, which I was really happy about. And to recall her back to me, I decided to give her more space, and that was a lot easier for her, and she was a lot more clear with that. And last but not least, we worked on her passive tricep bite, so that means that the decoy is not agitating. He's actually turned away from her, and she has to bite his tricep, which she did also really well on. And I gave her the out command on her last out guard, and that's pretty much how our training session went today.